the trust you've placed in me by working tirelessly to deliver the fairer, safer and greener London you deserve.
I'm also somebody who loves America. I've got family in America. I love American politics, American culture, American music and fashion, American businesses.
Sadiq Khan claims he's a victim of Islamophobia, but is he really? The Mayor of London recently appeared on Pakistani TV, painting himself as a target of religious discrimination. But here's the kicker. Most Londoners aren't buying it. In fact, Khan's approval ratings are plummeting faster than London's safety standards. So what's the real story behind his emotional plea? Stick around as we unpack the truth behind Khan's victim narrative and why it might be more smoke and mirrors than substance. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favour. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
Sadiq Khan's recent appearance on Pakistani TV has stirred up quite a storm. The Mayor of London, known for his charismatic presence, chose an international platform to make a startling claim. Khan asserted that the attacks against him are due to his Muslim faith and Pakistani heritage. "The reason why people attack me is because I am Muslim and I am from Pakistan," he stated, his words echoing across continents. But is this emotional plea a genuine cry for help or a calculated political move? Khan's assertion of victimhood has raised eyebrows among critics who argue that it's a poor excuse for the criticism he faces. They contend that the real issue isn't Khan's ethnicity or religion, but rather his leadership and the rising crime rates in London.
Sexual offences, 51%. It should be him who's apologising to the people of London.
The people, our members basically have said, if we don't sort out the problem of housing, civil society will be crippled. It already is.
Let's take a closer look at Khan's track record as mayor. His approval ratings have been on a roller coaster ride throughout his tenure, with significant public discontent regarding his handling of crime and safety in London. Some polls indicate a decline in support, with critics specifically pointing to rising crime rates as a major factor. It seems that Londoners are more concerned about their safety than Khan's background. Khan's political career has been marked by a consistent use of identity politics. He often frames discussions around race and religion to garner support. While this approach has undoubtedly resonated with some voters, others view it as a tactic to deflect from policy failures. Critics argue that Khan frequently plays the victim card to distract from his leadership shortcomings. But what about the real issues facing London? Under Khan's watch, the city's socioeconomic indicators paint a concerning picture. Rising crime rates have become a hot-button issue, with critics citing specific incidents as evidence of Khan's failure to address public safety effectively. This has contributed to a growing perception of London as an increasingly unsafe city.
Counter-terror funding is, it's not, you can't disaggregate that from mainstream policing.
I mean, look, I think most people would agree with what you're saying there. You are the first Muslim mayor.
Let's look at his track record. Overall crime up by 21%, violent crime 35%, homicides 5%, knife crime 54%.
Khan's tearful plea on Pakistani TV seems to contradict his powerful position as the mayor of one of the world's most influential cities. It's a curious juxtaposition, a man holding significant political power claiming victimhood on an international stage. This raises an important question: is Khan's victim narrative a clever diversion from London's real issues? While Khan plays the victim on international TV, Londoners are facing a very different reality on their streets. The bustling metropolis that once prided itself on safety and cultural harmony is now grappling with a surge in crime rates and growing tensions.
Brexit campaign was used as a proxy for grievances people had. So if somebody wasn't happy, they couldn't get their child into a local school, they blamed the EU.
He's got bodyguards, armoured car, 24-hour security. He's in charge of the Met Police, and he doesn't feel safe.
What's really happening in London while its mayor cries foul? The stark contrast between Khan's tearful pleas and the harsh realities of London's streets is impossible to ignore. As the mayor weeps about personal attacks, knife crime in the city has skyrocketed. The emotional display on Pakistani TV seems more like smoke and mirrors, distracting from the real crisis unfolding in the capital. Residents and business owners paint a picture of London that's a far cry from Khan's rosy narratives. They describe describe a city that's increasingly unsafe and chaotic, contradicting the mayor's claims of progress. It's as if Khan's London exists in a parallel universe, divorced from the daily experiences of its inhabitants. But let's talk numbers, shall we? Because while Khan's playing the identity politics game, crime rates are telling a different story. During his tenure, London has seen a significant increase in criminal activity, leading to widespread public discontent. It's not just about feelings or perceptions, it's cold, hard data that Khan seems reluctant to address. Take knife crime and gang violence, for instance.
I became the Reform UK's first ever Member of Parliament. Yeah,
£600 million from the Met Police budget. This government's got plans to cut a further £400 million. And by the way,
these issues have exploded under Khan's watch, yet his response has been tepid at best. Critics argue that he's failed to adequately address these pressing concerns, leaving Londoners to fend for themselves in an increasingly dangerous environment. But it's not just about crime. Cultural tensions in London have been simmering, with integration issues coming to the fore. Many residents express frustration over the perceived lack of action from Khan's administration regarding community safety and cohesion. It's as if the mayor is more concerned with his image on the international stage than with the real problems brewing in his own backyard. The disconnect between Khan's victim stance and his responsibilities as mayor is glaring. As the head of one of the world's most influential cities, Khan wields significant power, yet he seems more comfortable playing the role of the persecuted than the protector. It's a curious juxtaposition, a man holding such a powerful position claiming victimhood on an international stage. This raises an important question. Is Khan's victim narrative a clever diversion from London's real issues? While he focuses on identity politics, Londoners are left grappling with the consequences of what many perceive as failed leadership.
And the point I made to Donald Trump through the medium of the media is, there's nothing exceptional about me. There are literally tens and thousands of Muslims around the world.
He's got the cheek to tell us that he doesn't feel safe in London. Yeah, let that sink in.
The mayor's emotional appeals and victim narrative have been met with growing skepticism, as many feel that his focus on personal characteristics distracts from the pressing issues of crime and public safety. Khan's emotional plea on international TV reveals a deeper issue plaguing modern politics. While identity can shape experiences, it shouldn't be used as a shield against legitimate criticism. Experts warn that this tactic can actually undermine local governance, shifting focus away from concrete policy outcomes. Instead of addressing London's pressing urban challenges, Khan's rhetoric risks fostering division and distrust.
You will also know that this was just after a few supposedly controversial comments I made about Mayor Khan.
There are people in Daesh and so-called ISIS who say it's incompatible to be a Muslim and to hold Western liberal values.
This strategy raises important questions about the state of political discourse. Are we allowing emotional appeals to overshadow substantive debate? How can voters cut through the noise and demand real solutions? It's time for Londoners, and indeed all citizens, to look beyond identity politics and hold their leaders accountable based on results, not rhetoric. Only by refocusing on tangible improvements in safety, infrastructure, and quality of life can we hope to build a truly inclusive and thriving city for all.